Hey, welcome back to KMMA. I'm Andy O,
And I'm Khalil Deal.
and we're here to bring you our predictions and breakdowns for UFC Fight Night Imavov against Adesanya. So, opening up the card for the first fight will be Muhammad Naimov against Offley. I think I said this guy's name differently before, and I even wrote it down differently, and I was wrong. So, Offley here. Then we got Fares Ziam against Mike Davis, followed by Said Nurmagomedov against Vinicius Oliveira. Should be a banger, that one. Sergey Pavlovich against Jarzino Rosenstreich. Then we got a co-main eventing will be Shara Bullet Magomedov against MVP Michael Venom Page. And for the main event, we have the return of Izzy against Nazardine Imavov. So I turn it over to you, the man with the breakdown. Let's go, real deal. Who do you
All
got?
right.
Slayer.
So for this first fight here, man, I got to go with Mohamed Naimov, man. He's a solid fighter. He's been fighting in the UFC way longer than Khan Offley. Khan Offley made his UFC debut 5 months ago.
Don't remind
Got
me.
knocked out pretty badly against Myron Santos. He got knocked out with a left hook, and then after that was some ground and pound. Um, in his UFC debut. So didn't look good in his UFC debut
It
at
didn't
all.
even take that long, I remember.
Didn't take that long at all, too. And the guy's he's a pretty good submission type of guy. He's got some very good subs, rear naked chokes, some guillotines. That's basically where he dominates his submission jiu-jitsu game is pretty good. Out of his 11 wins, the guy is pretty decent. He's got five submissions. And then four decisions and two knockouts. So he is a threat when it comes to some jujitsu, but he's not that great of a wrestler compared to Mohamed Naimov. Naimov is very, very good on the ground, very good wrestler, very good grappler. I like the fact that he's going to be 2 inches taller as well. Mohamed Naimov, he's going to be 5'9" to 5'7". Also going to have a significant 4-inch reach advantage as well over Khan Offley. So Mohamed Naimov, this guy's been fighting in the UFC for a year and almost 2 years now. He started off his UFC debut where he knocked out Jamie Malarkey. What a load of malarkey that was. And then he fought Nathaniel Wood. Now Nathaniel Wood is very good, and we've talked highly about Nathaniel Wood. I remember that fight. He beat him by unanimous decision, and he was a dog in that fight against Nathaniel Wood. A lot of people had Nathaniel Wood in that one and lost. Also, he beat.
I've sometimes spoken lowly of Nathaniel Wood.
Well, I mean, he's still a very good fighter. I
Yeah.
mean,
Just saying. Yeah.
and then he knocked out Eric Silva, but it was more of a leg injury that he had. Eric Silva had a leg injury in that fight there, and then he took a loss to Felipe Lima. Who ended up subbing him in that fight? So that way, but he was winning that fight before he got subbed.
I don't know about that. The thing I'll say about that fight is that to me, Felipe Lima has a lot of potential, and there's no shame in losing to Felipe Lima in the third round like that, even by finish.
Yeah, and he was doing pretty well in that fight before he got, he kind of got caught in that submission. But I like Mohamed Naimov here. He's going to be, I think, the stronger guy, especially way better on the feet for sure. As far as striking is concerned, he's going to be the better striker, better punches. He's got some decent kicks too, and he's also very scrappy as well. He's a dog when he comes out there. He fights hard. He fights for your money. He's a very tough guy. Makes it a brawling type of match. Khan Offley, a little bit more technical when it comes to the way he fights there. He likes to try to also get you to the ground, but I don't think that he's going to have an easy time taking down the bigger Mohamed Naimov, the stronger guy as well, I feel. And I think Naimov is going to win this fight by a knockout or decision. I think that he's going to be able to knock out Khan Offley. We've seen him get knocked out by Myron Santos there, and I don't know how durable his chin is for Khan Offley there. So I like Mohamed Naimov by KO or decision in this one.
Yeah, look, Khan Offley, I think he's the type of guy that's going to have good fights against like lower level guys, kind of like him. And I don't think that's going to be enough to beat Muhammad Nemov here. I think Offley's going to try and get him down, but as you said, I think Muhammad's going to be too strong on his feet, be able to keep him off and just walk him down with a lot harder shots because I think he has way more power. And I think it's just going to be too hard for Offley to even find those subs because don't forget, he's also been subbing real low level guys also. And I don't think that's going to work against Nemov here unless he really catches him. So yeah, give me Nemov by knockout also. And Offley's like tough enough, but their toughness can only take you so far. And a huge Nemov shot will put out the lights.
Exactly, man. I definitely like Nemov in this one. So we're in agreement with the first fight of the main card. Let's move on up to the next one here. It's Fares Ziam against Mike Davis. Who you got this one, Andio?
Yeah, okay. I'm going to be going with the dog here, Fares Ziam. Uh, this is why. Essentially, is he's been getting better and better in his fights, is what I've noticed, as with guys that are at TriStar Gym. Because it's very good coaching. They know their shit. They always come in with a really good game plan. And if you look back, I can even see improvements fight by fight. You're looking, let's start with that early loss to Terrence McKinney, for sure, early loss. Can't really even blame him for that. But after that, Figlak, okay, Jay Adair, Claudio Puelles, and Matt Frivola with a big knockout there for a guy that doesn't really get many knockouts, right? So the competition is getting better, you could say. And you can see improvement fight after fight with this guy, I think. I think he's way crisper on the feet than Mike Davis. And yeah, look, I think he's in the groove here, and Mike Davis will be. I think he can stop the takedowns. He's well rounded. But if I'm not wrong, I don't think he fights all that often, Mike Davis, or is that a mistake?
Well, the thing is he had he hadn't he fought Vyacheslav Borshev 2 years and 3 months ago. Then he took some time off, and then
Oh,
just had that fight 10 months ago against Natan Levy.
but you see, that's it. Those are his two latest fights, and Borshev was in 2022 already, right? But if you're going back, he got 2021 for the fight before that. Then he got 2019. So that's not a big total of ring time for Mike Davis in terms of activity. So I think facing a guy that's been active, that's been showing improvements, that's been very well coached, I think, and can handle himself on the ground, man. I think Fares is more live for a sub than Mike Davis is in this one. And I don't see Mike Davis getting by Fares at this point, all things considered. So give me Ziam by. Let's play on the safe side with this one and go back to the decision ways. But I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the finish later on either.
This is going to be a banger of a fight. This fight should be really, really good. Both these fighters are very, very good, and it's going to be a banger of a fight. I do see that Fares is going to have the 2.5 inch height advantage there.
Which serves him well because he fights nice and long and he has good range management.
A 2.5 reach advantage, 1 inch taller. But again, this fight's going to be very, very close. Fares he looked good against Matt Frivola in his last fight, getting that knockout there with the knee to the head, and the split decision win against Claudio Puelles. But prior to that, there against Jai Herbert was a decision, and Michael Figlak a decision. So I don't feel like he's fought the better competition than Mike Davis. I feel like Mike Davis fought the better competition. Guys like Gilbert Burns, Thomas Guilford, Mason Jones, Vyacheslav Borshev, and Natan Levy. I think these are a little bit better quality fighters that he's fought. Also, I like Mike Davis's skill set, man. The guy's very, very good on the feet. Strong puncher. He's got a lot of power in his hands. The guy has 7 knockouts out of his 11 wins, so he's very powerful. He does also have 2 submissions, so he can definitely do some work on the ground. He's got good takedowns. He's got a good ground game as well. I think this fight is going to be close. I just like the comeback, though, that Mike Davis has done, coming back into the UFC there and looking really good against Natan Levy, where he got a submission, an arm triangle choke on him there. And that was 10 months ago, and he looked really, really good in that fight, man. I think that Fares He's not bad on the feet, but if he gets taken down and Mike Davis decides to use his ground game and grappling, I think he could beat Faraziem and get a lot of takedowns and do some damage on the ground. So I like Mike Davis to get the win here. I think he wins by knockout or submission. I think he actually finishes Faraziem. Ziem did get knocked out a while. He did get subbed a while ago against Terrence McKinney, as you mentioned. So I do think he can get subbed again by Mike Davis here.
I just think there's a big difference from that ZM to this ZM with the
Yeah,
improvement.
he has been getting better, I have to say. I do definitely like Ziem to be on the dog list if he stays a dog, which I think he will. I definitely have Faraziem on the dog list when it comes to the betting. But I like Mike Davis in this one, so I think we're going to be in disagreement here. I like Mike Davis to win by finish. All right, so first disagreement here of the main card. Let's move on up to the next fight. We got Said Nurmagomedov versus Vinicius Oliveira. Another sick fight. This one should be really, 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 really good. I'm going with the dog in this one, man. Vinicius Oliveira. I like this guy, man.
Ooh,
You
I
know,
wasn't expecting that.
yeah, I just like Vinicius Oliveira the way he fights. He goes in there, he's a fucking killer, man.
You gotta love that. Yes, indeed.
He goes in there and he just goes out there and makes it a brawl. He's good at everything. He's good at striking. He can scramble on the ground. He's got some grappling down there. In his 21 wins, he does have some submissions as well. He's got 2 submissions, so he's not really a submission specialist, but he does have some jiu-jitsu. He does have some groundwork. But where he gets most of his wins is by knockout. The guy's got 16 knockouts out of those 21 wins, so very, very powerful. He's got some crazy, powerful strikes. Last win against Ricky Simon. Ricky Simon is a guy who is notorious for grappling and takedowns and using his wrestling ground game. And Vinicius was able to beat him. Now I know Ricky Simon hasn't been looking that good.
I think wasn't that the worst Ricky Simone has ever looked in his career?
Yeah, he looked
I was
horrible
thinking,
in that fight. But again, he also fought a guy like Bernardo Sopage, and we've seen how good Bernardo Sopage looked in his last fight last week.
at the same time, he gassed. That's the reason he lost that fight.
True, but Bernardo Sopage, another guy very good at grappling, very good at ground game. So that's the point I'm trying to make is that he's beating these guys who have very good ground game and very good wrestling, such as Said Nurmagomedov, who's going to come in this fight. We know what Said Nurmagomedov is going to do. Although he's not really known to be a Dagestani grappler, he's more of a striker. If this fight stays on the feet, I think that Said's going to be in for a rude awakening trying to keep this fight standing. I think Vinicius, he hits harder.
I don't.
He punches more stronger, more solid. I think if he catches Said there, he can knock him out. And he had a hard time against Jonathan Martinez. Nurmagomedov lost that fight by unanimous decision. Martinez was knocking him around in that fight, defending takedowns and also beating him on the feet. So I think Vinicius can do it, man. I like him as a dog play here. Vinicius Oliveira, I got him winning this one by knockout.
This is how this fight's going to go. Vinicius Oliveira is going to come out like a house on fire, like he always does. Very creatively on the feet, try to take this guy's head off. Said's going to be in defensive mode. I think he's going to weather the storm. Said loves to be on the feet too. Like he'll do his shit there. I think he's going to establish his range a bit more after the storm is over. Start picking him apart on the feet. Then I think Vinicius is going to do something clever on the feet to kind of knock Nurmagomedov off balance a bit. Then Said's going to go for the takedown, which he will get. He's going to say, maybe it's a little too risky on the feet. He's going to end up taking him down. And while Vinicius is good down there, Said's lethal down there. And I think in a scramble, he's going to find a sub at some point. So give me Said by sub.
I just have a strange feeling that this might end up like last week in UFC 311 when Umar Nurmagomedov just wasn't able to do enough to get the victory there, and Merab was able to pull it off. I think that it kind of smells like this in this one here. I think that Vinicius is going to just do enough to prevent Said from doing his game. And I just don't think that Nurmagomedov is going to win the striking battle against Vinicius. I think Vinicius is going to land some hard strikes on him. I caught him off guard, kind of frustrate him, and take away a win here. So I got Oliveira winning this one by knockout. I think that he catches the chin of Said. I know Said. I don't think he's been knocked out before. Let me just take a look and see. Okay, no, he lost 3 times by decision, so he's never been subbed or knocked out. I'm going to go knockout or decision for Vinicius. I think that this might be one of those upsets here that Vinicius is going to pull this one off. But Said Nurmagomedov, it's going to be close. It's going to be a banger of a fight. I just think that Said is going to want to keep this fight standing instead of taking it to the ground, and I think Vinicius is going to catch him with something. That's just how I see it playing out in my head. I think that Vinicius is he's just more powerful. I feel he's just a dog, and he's just a bit more stronger, I feel, than Said. But we'll see what happens in this one.
You see it wrong.
All right, we'll see what happens. I might put Said Nurmagomedov in a parlay with somebody else that I'm not really highly confident in. But I like the dog play on Vinicius. The prediction is Vinicius for me, so we're in disagreement. All right. Let's move on up to the next fight here. Here we go, another one, another heavyweight, 1/900 gambler, all the degenerates. Take a look at this one, Sergey Pavlovich against Jairzinho Rozenstruik.
I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to be going for Sergey Pavlovich in this fight.
Man, it's close, man. I'm going back and forth on this one.
The odds are crazy, so...
I really am going back and forth with this one here.
Okay, go back and forth for a little more. I'll tell you what's going to happen in this fight probably. Sergey Pavlovich is probably going to find it within himself to fight like he normally fights and not like he fought against Volkov there. And he's going to knock Rozenstruik out in the first round because Rozenstruik doesn't appear to beat people of quality, like the upper echelon of guys, I don't find, when he gets that little step up in competition. And he's very crafty otherwise. I like the fact that even occasionally he does a leg kick here and there, but I don't think that's going to throw Pavlovich off if it's the old Pavlovich, who, don't forget, has a massive reach, right? That can loop around, and he just has massive power. Rozenstruik is more technical, like as a kickboxer, but I don't think that's going to save him here. But, as they say, I wouldn't be surprised if somehow Rozenstruik got a win, especially if we see that lackluster Pavlovich as we saw last time.
Yeah, I mean, the guy, he lost. Pavlovich lost 2 fights in a row now. Lost to Alexander Volkov by unanimous decision. Got knocked out by Tom Aspinall as well. So that's the only thing that worries me a little bit. But I do like his height and reach advantage. Now, it's a massive reach advantage here. We're talking a 6-inch reach advantage for Pavlovich. And I think that if Pavlovich comes in there and just boxes with Jairzinho Rozenstruik and maybe tries to wrestle a little bit in this one, he's going to win the fight. I think
we know Jairzinho's not wrestling at all.
Exactly. But Pavlovich is going to be the pick for me as well. I think that he's going to win also by knockout. I think that he's going to land something pretty powerful against Jairzinho if he comes forward, starts throwing some crazy, those crazy powerful punches that he throws. And he's going to catch Rozenstruik off guard and knock him out. I think he wins by knockout in the first or second round. There is a possibility of a wrestling where Pavlovich might actually try to take down Jairzinho. If he does that, he's gonna win for sure. Even more so, he has a good chance of taking down Jairzinho. He does wrestle, Pavlovich. He can wrestle.
Just the fact also that Sergey doesn't have to worry about any takedowns from Jairzinho at all, or any real feints of takedowns. I think should help in theory, right? So.
Yeah, because against Tom Aspinall, he did have to worry about the takedowns. Tom Aspinall. How he a legendary grappler.
Yeah, it's always in the back of your mind somewhere.
But I think that he'll knock out Rozenstruik. He did knock out Derek Lewis. He knocked out Tai Tuivasa. He knocked out
He's knocked out pretty much everyone, right?
I think he can knock out Rozenstruik in this one. I'll take Pavlovich as well by KO, man. So we're in agreement with this one. All right. Nice. Let's move on up to the next fight here. We got Shara Magomedov against Michael Venom Page. For this one here, man, again, another banger of a fight. This should be.
I I can't wait for this one.
Listen, I kind of have a feeling about this fight, what's going to happen. I think that Michael Venom Page, he's getting up there in age at 37 years old. Shara is 30 years old, much younger. They are going to be about the same height. I know that he'll have a 6-inch reach advantage, Venom Page, but the problem with Venom Page is he is strictly a striker. He does not have any ground game or takedowns.
So is Shara.
But Shara does have it in his back pocket.
No, he doesn't.
Can wrestle. We have already talked about this many times.
And we never saw him do it.
If he decides to use his takedowns, which he has in his back pocket, he could take down Michael Venom Page. Now, look, a lot of you guys out there are going to be going for Venom Page. You're going to say, oh, well, it's going to be a striking battle. Venom Page is crazy. He's got some crazy reach. He's got some... Yeah, but one thing that everybody's forgetting, if you saw the fight against Kevin Holland, now, Michael Venom Page leaves his hands down. He kind of fights like Bobby Green, where he leaves his hands down a lot and leaves his head wide open to get hit. Shara Magomedov is a very calculated and precise striker. He's got good leg kicks as well, which will slow down Michael Page from advancing. He's got good kicks. And I think that he's going to leave his head open where he can get kicked in the head by Shara Magomedov or also punched in the head several times because he leaves his arms down. He doesn't block. He doesn't keep his hands up to block the punches like he should be doing. But he keeps his arms down a lot and leaves his head open to hit.
You know, he has to do that half the time also to maintain the balance for his crazy, like, creative striking, which is, you know, a disadvantage, obviously, but it's not because it's out of, like, stupidity, you know? It's because of the way he strikes and the fact that he still has the reflexes to get away with it.
Another thing too is Shara Magomedov is going to be the bigger guy here. He is the more natural in the middleweight division here at 185 pounds, whereas Michael Page is 170. So he's actually moving up in weight here, moving up in the division to try to fight a bigger guy. So he's also moving up. That's another disadvantage for Michael Venom Page here. He's normally in the welterweight division. So he's moving up to middleweight now to fight a guy like Magomedov. So that's another strike against him. He's fighting a bigger guy, a tougher guy. Venom Page did not look good against Ian Machado Gary in his last fight. He lost that unanimous decision. And Gary is also a guy who doesn't really use his ground game a lot. He's mostly a striker too himself, but was able to use some of his ground game against Michael Venom Page.
He was scared and he reverted to his ground game.
Now, if Magomedov takes a page out of his book and does that as well, I think that he can get the win here. Let's not give a medal to Michael Page here for knocking out Kevin Holland. Lately, everybody's been knocking out Kevin Holland, okay?
Nobody's giving him a medal for that.
Everyone's been beating Kevin Holland lately. You know, he made his UFC debut against Kevin Holland. He beat him. So what? Everybody's beating Kevin Holland. Like we saw how he looked last week. Kevin Holland looked like utter garbage. So I got Shara Magomedov winning this one by KO or decision. How about you, Andio?
Okay, no, yeah, I love the fact that this fight is going to be a stand-up battle here. I'm going to have to counter a couple of your points here. The fact that it is a heavier weight class and all of that, I don't think will affect Venom Page the way you think it will, because it takes a lot more energy to stop those takedowns and even prepare to stop them. You know, it's a different form of energy wasted. He's not going to have to worry about that at all, and he's going to be free to do his thing. I think both of these guys are going to come in there with ideas on creative shots that they'd like to land, and I think in one of those Shara double spinning shots or whatever that he tried, similar to the way he got that win against Petrosian last time, I think he's going to get caught with a Venom Page straight power shot elbow during like midway through that spin. This is just what I see. Up until that point, I think it's going to be a really fun fight to watch if you like stand-up fights with finesse in there. And I think Shara may be a bit more of a brawler, but even like earlier in his career, I don't think he he had the killer instinct that he appears to have found now. So I think this fight will end in a finish. I think MVP is going to get it.
Yeah, this is going to be a banger of a fight. Definitely will be interesting to watch. Guys, don't forget this fight is taking place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, so it's going to be early event. Eastern time. It's going to be at 9 a.m. Eastern time. So wake up if you're in the West Coast. That's 6 a.m. your time. So it's going to be a very early, nice fight to watch some UFC, having some breakfast. It's going to
Yeah.
be cool. But yeah, man. Again, I think this one's going to be one of the fights of the night there. But I think Magomedov is just going to be able to beat him here, man. I think he has a shot at beating him. But Michael Venom Page, is he a dog right now?
He is.
I definitely I'm gonna have him on the dogs
I
list.
don't think I'm going to make him my dog of the night, but that he's there. It's just I think this should be an even fight. Let's put it that way. I don't think Shara is worthy of this. Look, he's not a massive favorite or anything, but I don't think he should be a favorite in any way based on his striking and his striking alone.
I just don't like the fact that Michael.
Grappling, since his grappling is a non-factor, the more you say it is, man, it's not until he shows me.
Listen, I really hope he does. That I'll be coming back saying, "I told you so."
You told me that Magomed could take down Michael Venom Page? Anybody could take down Michael Venom Page, but I'd at least like, I guess, hey, he went for one and I saw it.
I would love to see him use his takedowns in this one, but again, I'm gonna have Michael Venom Page on the dog list, okay, when it comes to betting. But the pick for me is going to be Magomedov to win by knockout or decision. I think that Venom Page leaves himself way too open. All
And
right, so
but before we get to the main event, everyone, if you like the video, like and subscribe. It helps out the channel immensely.
yes, and leave a comment. All right, we are at the main event of the morning. We'll say right afternoon. It's going to be Israel Adesanya against Nasruddin Imavov. Who you got here, Andy-O?
Okay, now I think I smell something in the air. Have a lot of people smelt the same thing that I have because Izzy has won only one out of his past four fights. I think this is the beginning of the real Izzy downfall. I've never been the biggest Imavov fan. I'm still not, but he's a competent fighter. He's defensively well sound, and he has takedowns, real takedowns in his back pocket. So I think Izzy's going to be a little tentative coming in there. I think we're just going to see an Izzy that's a little more unsure of himself, not quite sure to do in certain situations. Of course, he's going to have great kicks and he's still going to have talent. But I think we're going to see a little something else in Izzy here, meaning not a victory. It's just a feeling. Sometimes you got to predict these things before they're obvious. It's not obvious yet, but I predict we're going to see it in this fight. And Imavov, he's not a slouch. Like maybe I should give him props more than I do, but this time I'm gonna base his win off of an Izzy downturn. What about you, Real Deal?
Listen, I'll tell you right now, I do have Nasruddin Imavov on the dog list as well. He is a dog in this one here.
And he's been dropping in value, like a lot.
Definitely, if you want to grab him now, if
You
you're
should have picked him up 3 days ago.
you want to grab him now, if you're taking him. But my pick is going to be Izzy to win this one because I'll tell you why. He is fighting right now for respect. He's fighting for his career. He's fighting for his life. I mean, the guy lost 2 fights in a row. 3 out of his last 4 fights, he lost to Alex Pereira, of course, knocking him out. Sean Strickland beating him by decision, and then of course Dricus du Plessis
I,
stopping him in this last.
I don't think they're going to kick him out of the UFC.
I'm not saying they're going to kick him out of the UFC, but he's fighting for respectability here. I mean, this guy is a former champion, and the guy wants to have a decent legacy here. If he beats Nasruddin Imavov, he's right back in it. He's back in the game and looks good. So he's really going to have a very good motive to win this fight. I think he's going to be very motivated. I like that he's going to have a 5-inch reach advantage. I think Adesanya, what he might do in this fight is keep a distance, do what he likes to do, which is strike, jab, stay at a distance, throw leg kicks, throw jabs, box the shit out of Nasruddin. Don't let Nasruddin Imavov get too close to him. Don't let Nasruddin take him down. Stuff the takedowns and continue to outbox him and outpoint him. And I got Izzy winning by decision. I don't think he knocks out Imavov because he doesn't have that kind of power, but he does have some knockout power. I mean, he did knock out Alex Pereira once before. So, but he did win a decision against Cannonier. I think that he's able to outstrike Nasruddin in this one. I think he's just going to be a little bit quicker on his feet. I think he's going to be faster. I think he's training hard for this fight. Nasruddin is going to be a dog play. Like I said, I have him on the dogs list, but I got.
You think Imavov's sitting on his ass?
No, but I'm just saying that like that Izzy has been training for a while. The guy hasn't fought. I mean, he fought 5 months ago against the Duplessis, but I mean, he's been like, he's been losing all kinds lately, man. And I think that he needs to get back in the win column here. He needs this for respectability.
It's fair to say it's an important fight for Izzy.
A lot is riding on this fight for Izzy. If he loses this fight, man, it's fair to say that he, like you said, he's on the downfall at that point. If he does lose this fight, I will definitely fade him forever after that. I would strongly suggest he retires after this if he loses, because at this point, if you're losing 3 fights in a row, 4 out of your last 5, man, it's not a good look. And, it might be coming to the end of your career if this is what's happening now. You know what I mean? So, and it's happening recently, these losses. I mean, prior to that, the guy's been was winning all kinds until the last.
Yeah, and people give him breaks based on this or that or level of competition. Let's not forget as well. And here, based on talent level alone, man, you got to think that Izzy is more skillful overall, I guess, like all things considered, because he does have great takedown defense too.
He's got good takedown defense and good striking. His boxing skills are very solid. He's crisp with his punches.
It's just a matter of the slowdown, the fall off. I
think that he needs to keep a distance from Nasruddin. He cannot get taken down. If he gets taken down and Nasruddin implies a ground game, a wrestling type of strategy, he's gonna have a hard time and lose this fight. But
I think we'll see that more than we have in the past from Imavov.
Very good fight here, guys. So there you have it, folks. We are in disagreement. I got Izzy. He's got Nasruddin. But again, like I said, Nasruddin's on the dog list. Stay tuned on Friday for our final predictions and thoughts and face-offs. And we will let you guys know if there's any changes. I think the UFC might add a couple of fights throughout the week. I can't see it ending at 11 fights only for the entire card. So
no, maybe. We'll see.
Peace out, folks. KAMMA. Like and subscribe, guys.